Good morning, Mr. John. How are you?
Doing fine. How are you? Hey, Hikaru.
Good morning.
So you joined us. Very good. All right. Well, guys, no snow. What happened?
I don't know. I was looking this morning and there is no snow.
Nothing.
No,
Are you sad? Are you disappointed?
not really because when is snowing, I need to remove the snow for the sidewalk.
What?
Yes,
Don't you have kids or come on, can't they do that?
they are at the school
Oh,
and
they can wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Carmen, and shovel this. Come on. Teach him hard work here. What about husband? He can do it too, right?
yeah, but he's working also.
Everyone has an excuse, Carmen.
Yes, all the time.
Yeah, I know. Too bad. Hikaru, were you hoping for snow today?
No.
Sorry. So Hikaru, how long have you lived here?
A month.
Okay, so you haven't seen snow here. Okay,
Yeah.
not really. So so they were talking about snow,
Mm.
and then they said maybe a little bit of snow, and then maybe rain, and now it was nothing. I know. I woke up this morning, took my dogs outside, and it was clear, very clear. So, all right. Well, I see Hassan has joined us. Hey, Hassan.
Yeah.
How are you?
How are you too?
Yeah, we're good. We're talking about the weather. So we were hoping for snow. No snow.
Yeah, no snow.
So are you sad, Hassan?
Yep.
Oh, you wanted snow. Okay. Well, I don't know. I think most of my students did not want snow. So I don't know. Let's see. And Hassan, you can turn your camera off. It's okay. That might help your connection a little bit. So if you want to turn off your camera, your video. Yeah, there you go. That might help a little bit. Yeah. Sakurako, were you hoping for snow?
Yep. I'm
No,
hoping
thank you.
All right. I see Miriam's here. Miriam, were you hoping for snow?
Good morning. Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
But you're happy there's no snow or what?
I want more snow.
Yeah, me too. All right. Finally, someone agrees with me. Okay. Yeah, I wanted snow, man. So no snow. Well, that's Kentucky, right? Sometimes snow in February, sometimes not. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Good to see everyone here this morning. We have some new students joining us, so welcome to our new students. But let's go ahead and begin this morning. So it is Tuesday, February 13th, and that means that tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So I'm going to say first to everyone, happy Valentine's Day. Of course, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, but anyway, I thought maybe we would talk about Valentine's Day for a moment. So I see some people already are sharing their hearts with us with Valentine's. Okay. All right, very good. So let's talk a little bit about Valentine's Day for just a moment, and then we're going to do, at the end of class, I have a special little activity for us. But first, let's talk a little bit about Valentine's Day. So again, I don't know what your opinion is of Valentine's Day, but some people think of Valentine's Day is what we might call a greeting card holiday. You know, when you go to the store and you buy a little card and you give it to, someone. Well, so some people think that Valentine's Day is a holiday that's invented for the sole purpose of selling greeting cards and candy. Other people think Valentine's Day is a real, sincere expression of love and should not be viewed so negatively. So I'm going to ask you guys, what is your opinion about Valentine's Day? Do you think it is a real, good, genuine, sincere day? Or do you think it's just to sell candy and cards and flowers? So you can use the microphone, you can use the chat. Tell us your opinion. What do you guys think about Valentine's Day? Do you think it's a good thing, or do you think it's just to sell and make money? So who has an opinion? Who would like to share? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, share. Tell us, Carmen, what do you think?
I think all the time is a good moment to share love with people around us, but depend for people for that way they say this holiday. Many people say it's only for sell candy, for sell flowers, and so many
Sure.
things. But for me, I think it's more for share love and be and have honest people around.
Okay. So Carmen, tomorrow,
Mhm.
do you expect flowers, candy? Do you expect these things tomorrow?
I like flowers. I like a lot, but I have a lot of flowers.
Okay.
right now.
All right. So Carmen, it seems like Carmen likes Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Okay. She likes it. She thinks it's a good thing. All right. Let's hear some other opinions. So Hikaru, what do you think? Do you think Valentine's Day is a good thing?
For me, sorry.
Go ahead, Hikaru. Go ahead.
Okay. Some people celebrate Valentine's Day,
Mm-hmm.
but so I have a kids. So kids just exchange a card and candy. Like
All right. So you think this is just for kids then? You don't think Valentine's Day is for adults?
It's some people.
So I'm going to ask my Japanese group here, Kaoru, Sakurako, Hikaru. So I think we've talked about this before, that Valentine's Day is celebrated in Japan.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Sakurako?
Sakurako, what can you guys tell us? What do you think?
Yes, it's very big event for women, I think.
Mm-hmm. Really?
In department store, there is a Valentine area to get great candy.
Right.
There are so many women there.
So tomorrow, Sakurako, what do you expect? Do you expect flowers and candy?
I think so. Last
Yeah?
year, my husband gave me some flowers. So
Okay.
I hope
Now, wait a minute. What did you give him?
just a card.
Just a card. Just a card, and it was a wrong card too, right? It was an old Christmas card. Here, there you go. Just Valentine's Day. Okay. All right. Any other opinions? Come on, guys. What do you think? Does anybody think it's not a real holiday? Does anybody think it's just only for making money? Does anyone have that opinion? Yeah? Barbara, what do you think?
Just money.
Just
For
money.
me, just money. Yeah.
But
For kids,
but tomorrow, wait a
for-
minute. But tomorrow.
Yeah. No, tomorrow I don't expect anything for
Really?
my husband. And, yeah.
But if your
Just
husband
for
if your
kids
husband
and-
but if your husband brought you flowers,
no.
you would
I-
say, ugh, put that in the garbage. Ugh,
No,
get
I
it
like
away.
that, but no, this day, just this day, every
Okay.
day,
Every day. Wait a minute. Come on, husbands don't have that kind of money.
or
We
every
can't
month.
buy flowers every day. Come on, man.
No, but But no, just tomorrow. I don't expect nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So-
for me, it's money, just money.
Just money.
In Brazil, this holiday is no holiday. This Valentine's Day is 12 June.
Oh, okay. So it's a different day. Oh, I see.
Different day, yeah, but it's different too because for kids, in June, here is more. I don't know how to say intensive
Yeah.
for kids. And
Yeah.
in Brazil, no, just for adults. And
Okay.
for me, it's money too.
Yeah. Well, and certainly, Hikaru mentioned the kids exchanging cards. That's a very
Yeah.
popular kids thing.
Yeah.
so. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hassan, what do you think, Hassan? Do you like Valentine's Day?
Yep. For my opinion,
Yeah.
I do think that this day is very important for everyone because
Okay.
it's all about love.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
And by tomorrow, we are going to share love with our loved ones, with the society around us.
Sure.
For me, I like to share love with everyone.
So tomorrow, are you going to give flowers or candy to anybody?
Yep, I'm giving a call to the loved ones.
Okay.
I'm giving cards to the society members around me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, Hassan has already, it's like a challenge. Hassan is telling everybody, come on, show love to everyone. I think that's a great idea. Okay.
Mhm.
I like that. Very positive. I like that, Hassan. Now, as you can see, my wife is not in the room, so I'm not going to answer this question. But I will say that I think it's important to show love every day. But
Yeah.
I like Valentine's. I like it. It's not, now we don't always do anything special, but I think it's important to show something. I think it's a good idea. So, all right, guys, last chance. Any other opinions? Does anyone think it's just a negative thing? So Barbara says it's just for money. Some people say it's a pretty good idea. Carmen likes it. So anyone else have any thoughts? Any other opinions? Yeah? Go ahead, Miriam. Let's see. Miriam says it's, show love. Okay. Okay. Well, I think this is interesting, Miriam. I think it has changed in the United States. I think, in the beginning, it was either, kids or, husband and wife or boyfriend or girlfriend. But I think it's changed. I think now, like Hassan said, I think it's much more of a friend family event. I don't think it's just for romantic love. I think it's really expanded. So, for example, my parents send us Valentine's Day cards, and I that sounds a little strange, but it's become, I think, much more a family thing. So, Miriam, is that what you
Yes,
think?
but in my country there is no Valentine Day.
Okay.
In 80s, 90s.
Okay.
But now it's started. New generation celebrate Valentine.
So, do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I think because I like it.
You like it? Okay. Well, I do think it's interesting to hear from different students. Now, Barbara, I did not know that Brazil had a different day for Valentine's Day, so that's very interesting. But I always think it's interesting to hear my students talk about Valentine's Day because, yeah, in some countries, maybe you have it. Other countries, maybe not. But some people think Valentine's Day is, just another day to make money. But I do agree. It's important to show love all the time. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, one thing when I was in college,
Uh-huh.
so it's a Valentine Day, so our teacher keep girls away from boys.
Okay.
Of the
Well, that certainly changes the idea of Valentine's Day, doesn't it?
yes.
Oh, well, it is interesting to hear about that too, how different cultures might look at it. Well, anyway, guys, so I thought what we would do this morning is learn some expressions about love, right? So I'm going to share some expressions and we're going to do some activities with that here in just a moment. Let's see, Vladimir says it's a romantic love day, but to make more money. I certainly think the restaurant business depends on it. So that's probably true, Vladimir. Yeah, I think restaurants really depend on it. So, all right. Well, so again, for our new students, so again, we have some new students with us. So again, welcome to our new students. So normally we start with a little greetings activity. So that's what we just did. And then sometimes we do some new expressions. So we're going to practice with those in just a moment. And then we're going to continue in our Burlington English lesson. So we just started this lesson last week, and I'll review a little bit, and then we're going to do some activities. And then I have a special surprise at the end of class today. Since tomorrow's Valentine's Day, I thought I would share with you a song activity. This is one of my favorite songs, and it's a good song about Valentine's. So we'll share that here at the end of class, okay? All right, so now for our new students, what we do at this point is everybody turn on our microphones. All right, so everyone turn on your microphones, and we're going to say these expressions together. So I have 3 expressions we're going to learn this morning, okay? So everybody repeat after me. Puppy love.
Puppy love.
Puppy love.
All right, now this one's long, okay? So let's do it a little bit at a time. 'Tis better to have loved and lost. Everybody?
'Tis better
to have loved
Loved
and lost than to have never loved at all.
Then to have never loved at all.
That one's kind of a long one, okay? All right, the last one, a love for the ages.
A love for the ages.
Okay, now everybody, you can turn off your microphones now for just a few minutes. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and turn off your microphones. And I'm going to take a few minutes and explain each of these expressions. Now, the idea is, of course, if we have questions, we can talk about them. But first, let me explain them, and then we'll check to make sure we understand them. And then we will do an activity, which I will explain in just a moment, okay? So the first activity, puppy love. Now, I don't know how many people here in the class have had a puppy before. Not just a dog, but actually a puppy. Sometime in your life, you've had a puppy. So everyone raise your hand if you've ever had a puppy before. Raise your hand if you've ever had a puppy before. Okay, so a few people have had puppies before, right? Now, okay, so we know puppies are really sweet, right? They're very nice. They follow you everywhere, right? They want to see what you're doing. So in this case, the word puppy love is kind of an informal term we use for kind of like romantic love, but the kind of romantic love that children might have. You know, they might, fall in love with someone, but it's not like a real love. It's kind of like a puppy love. It's very innocent. So we often see this during sort of during childhood, or even when you start to become a teenager. So that's what early childhood, early adolescence means. So again, adolescence means teenage years. Okay. Now, I don't know if you've heard the expression a crush, but it's a similar meaning. So when someone has a crush, it means like that first very intense feeling that you might have, but it's not very serious. It's not very, very deep. So a puppy love is kind of like the love of a puppy, right? It follows you around. It looks at you very sweetly with those eyes. Look at those eyes of that little puppy there, right? Now we've had 3 puppies in our lifetime, and they're very sweet. But they love you almost too much. But in this case, when we say puppy love, it means very intense, sort of innocent, the kind of love that maybe children might have. So again, Valentine's Day might be a chance for that type of puppy love that you might see. Okay, now this next expression, this is not an expression that we use, the whole expression, okay? But the idea of the expression is very famous in English. First off, this was, many of the expressions we learn are not always English expressions. They've been, we borrow them from other cultures, and then we sort of translate them into English. This expression is actually an English expression, but I think you probably can understand it. So, 'tis better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. Basically, it means it's better to have had the experience of love. So maybe you loved someone, maybe you were, married or had a boyfriend, girlfriend, or a family member or friend. So it could be many different kinds of love. But so the idea is it's better to have had the experience of love, even if you lose that love, whether it's a death or a breakup. Basically, it means to have had the experience of love than to never have had the experience of love before. And I think the idea here is it's better to have that experience than to never have that experience. Now, of course, we know that love can be a good thing, but of course, love can also make us very sad, right? It can break our hearts. So this expression, by the way, was created by this writer right here. Yeah. So his name was Alfred Lord Tennyson, and he was a very famous English poet many, many years ago, so the 1800s. But the idea is, I think many people still think of it today, right? It's better to have the experience of love, and even if you lose that love, than to have never had the experience before. So I think in this case, most of you probably know what this feeling is, right? Some of you, maybe you've had a family member die, or maybe you've had a romantic, some sort of breakup, divorce, death, whatever. Yes, it makes us sad, but it's also good to have the memory of love, the experience of love. Some people think maybe we would be better with no love, we don't have to suffer. But the idea here is it's better to have the experience of love than never to have the experience. So now maybe you agree with that, maybe you disagree, but this is a very famous idea that we still use today. Yeah, it's better to have the love and lose it than never to have it at all. Okay. Now, the last expression, a love for the ages. Now, this is one of these expressions where it could be a little dangerous trying to translate each word. So let's talk about the last part first, the ages. Okay, the ages. Now, some of you might be thinking about the word age, right? So, for example, some of us might think about, your age. Like, for example, Mr. John is not 39 years old. Okay, so that's yeah. So for example, some of us think about the word age as like how old you are, right? Now, don't worry, I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but that is not the meaning of the word age here in this example. The ages is referring to history. It's referring to time. So this particular expression is talking about history. So when we say the ages, we mean the history of time. Okay? So in this case, we're not talking about my age or your age. We're talking about a period of time. So when we say that this was a love for the ages, what we're saying is this is a love that will be remembered perhaps for a long time. Maybe it's a love that will stand the test of time, like it'll be around for a very long time. Now, I don't know if you recognize this picture. Does anyone recognize the movie that this picture is from? Has anyone seen this movie before? Yeah? Barbara, do you remember the name of it? Yeah, Brenda put it there. All right, so Brenda, yeah, she told us. It's the movie Up. Now, I know the movie Up, this marriage that we see in the first part of the movie is a very good love, isn't it? Unfortunately, his wife dies, and it's a very sad moment in the movie, isn't it? Right? Yeah, Brenda, did you cry after the first 20 minutes of this part of the movie? It's a very sad part. But the idea is their love was very strong. So in this case, it says happy 50th anniversary. I can't remember if they were married 50 years or not. But anyway, a person who was married for 50 years, that would be a love for the ages, a long-lasting love, to be married a long time. My wife and I, for example, our wedding anniversary is in August. We will have been married 28 years. So that's pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty good long time. So we still got 22 years to go for 50, right? But still, that could be an example, a long, long love, right? So again, maybe your parents, for example, might have that type of love. All right, so one more time, let me review the expression. So we have puppy love, right? Innocent love that you might have in childhood. 'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. It's better to have the experience of love and even lose it than to have no love. And finally, a love for the ages. So this means a love that will be remembered for a long, long time. Okay, now for our new students, let me explain what you're going to do in just a moment. So in just a moment, you and a partner are going to go into a separate room. We call this the breakout room. And you and your partner will practice these dialogues. So I have 3 short dialogues, right? Example number 1, example number 2, and example number 3. So example number 1, the title is At the 50th Anniversary Party. Dialogue number 2 is A New Relationship. And dialogue number 3, After the Breakup. Okay, so these 3 dialogues are dialogues that you and your partner can practice, and they will show you how to use the expression in real life. And then finally, I have 3 discussion questions. These discussion questions are using the expressions that we're learning here this morning. So as you can see, each question is talking about the expression, and it's a chance for you and your partner to talk to each other and to share your own information. Okay? Now, first off, before we begin, I want to make sure our new students and everybody understands where the chat is. Okay? Now, again, I don't know, Hassan or Hikaru, if you're using a computer or phone. So can you tell me real quickly which one you're using?
Computer.
Okay, Hassan? Let's see, Hassan, are you there? I can hear something. I don't know, maybe your microphone's not working. Okay, so everybody, at the bottom of the screen, if you're using a computer, you will see a little box next to a group of people. Okay, there's a little picture of people and then a little box called the chat, or it will say in call messages. So what I would like for everybody to do right now, so everybody, Hikaru, Hassan, everyone, could you please put just a short hello in the chat? Okay, so that everybody can take a look. Okay, good, Hassan, you found it. Okay. All right, yeah, so everyone take a moment and just type a short hello message for me. Okay. All right, let me see who's found it. All right, so we got, okay, so there's Carmen. All right, Hassan's using a laptop. Good. Okay, thank you, Hassan. Tiaba, Sakurako. Okay, Hikaru, have you found it?
Yeah, I found it, but I couldn't type it.
Okay, so can you click on the little box? There we go. Okay, you found it. Okay, good. And Vladimir, you found it using the phone. Okay, very good. All right, I think everybody has found it. Okay, so the reason I'm asking you to look for the chat is in a moment when you go into the breakout room, I will share the link to this activity. And you will click on the link and the activity will open on your computer screen. Okay, so again, Vladimir, the same thing. Vladimir, you've done the online class before, so you probably have the experience. But the idea is we're going to go into the breakout room and we're going to click on the link that I'm going to share with you. Okay, and it will be this activity. Now, from there, what you will do with your partner is one person will be A and the other person will be B, and you can practice the dialogue together. And maybe today, why don't we practice each dialogue 2 times? Okay, so maybe one person can be A, one person can be B, and then we can switch. Is that okay? So the idea here is we can switch in giving these answers. And then when you're ready, you can do the discussion questions. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Now, again, for our new students, you will see a message in just a moment that will tell you that you're going into the breakout room. So give me just a second. I'm going to get our rooms ready. Okay. Okay, I think our rooms are ready. So what's going to happen is you're going to go into the breakout room. So you'll get a message that will say join, like join the message. And then from there, I will come in and share the link. Okay, now, while you're waiting for me, take a moment and introduce yourself. All right, I think we're waiting on just a couple of more people. Okay, there's Hikaru. I think we're just waiting on one more. Okay, so I hope you had a chance to get through all of the questions. We don't have time to talk about all of them, but I thought we would talk about question number 2. So real quickly, guys, in the chat, here's what I want you to answer. Okay, can you tell me who has been married the longest? Now, not you necessarily, but I want you to say who is somebody you know and tell us how long they've been married. So if you have an example for number 2, please share it in the chat right now. Okay, so if you've got somebody that you know who's been married, 40 years, 50 years, whatever, share it in the chat real quickly. Let's take a look and tell us how long. Okay, so I'm curious to see different ideas about this. So, all right. So Brenda said parents married for 46. Wow, that is a long time. Okay. Barbara said 40 for her parents. Okay. Manuel 45. Okay. Miriam 60. My parents 40. Mine 13. Hey, that's good. That's a good number there. I like that. 60, 40, 13. Okay. All right. Let's see. Manuel said 45. Tiaba said 32. So wow, gosh, I've been married almost 28. So oh no, Tiaba, does that mean I'm old? Oh no. All right, so it looks like so far 60 seems to be the highest number here. Does anybody have one longer than 60? Anyone have more than that? 60 years, that's a good one. All right, Carmen said 65. Wow. So Carmen, I guess they were married when they were babies. Is that it? You're too young, right, to have in-laws that old, right? I don't know, 65. That might be the winner. So I'll be curious to see what my evening class says. We'll see who the winner is here in this case. Well, all right, interesting. So very interesting. Okay, so guys, let's talk though about the second part of the question. What do you think about this? Do you think it is possible for people today? Do you think people today are going to be married for 60 years? So think about maybe, people who have been married, or maybe you, for example. Do you think it's possible we could still have people maybe 60 years? What do you guys think? Do we have any opinions? You might say, well, of course it's possible, but do you think it's going to happen? What do you think? Do you think this younger generation are going to stay married for 60 years, 55 years? Yeah, go ahead, Brenda. What do you think?
I think our generations, yes, it's possible, because we have the example for our parents or uncles, and I don't know. We don't have maybe expectation for our couples
Okay.
and
So you think our parents have set an example for us? Like this is
Yes.
something we can follow. So we've seen these examples. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Now, what about young kids today, though, Brenda? Think about the younger generation.
Okay, the younger generation, I think they don't. For the first, they don't want to have husbands or
Okay.
wives.
Okay. So maybe
That
not
is
getting
the
married.
first
Okay. Okay.
point. If someone marry, I think they don't at the first fight.
Hmm.
If they don't agree for something, they say is I don't need to this, and everyone for the other one side and other side, and they don't want to have someone with them.
Okay.
I think are more independent,
Sure.
and they think for that they think if they want to marry with someone, they lose their independence.
Sure.
And if have kids, they lose completely independent,
Mhm.
and they don't want to care someone else because they think they don't have the tools
All right.
for care someone else.
Now that's interesting, Brenda, because I think, I mean, first off, I think for young people today, life is much more expensive, certainly. So I think maybe keeping that independence is, part of it. Yeah, part of it is they want to be independent, but I think another part is life is just more expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah, but and of course, I think we also can see, and this is happening not just in America, people are waiting longer and longer to get married.
Yes.
Some people are now getting married in their 30s, and it's pretty hard to be married for 60 years if you're getting married in your 30s. So that's something to think about too. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, Brenda, thanks for sharing that. Let's see. Miriam says we don't have a concept for girls living without marriage. Now, Miriam, are you saying that's a cultural
Yes. In my
situation?
country, yes. Still same.
So for example, it's still, the expectation is still for young women to get married.
Yes.
Okay. So
There
living,
is no option.
no option. So living a single life would not be possible.
No.
Okay. So do you think that's going to change in the future, or do you think it's still going to be the same?
I want to be same.
Okay.
To be changed.
So you like this particular tradition?
Yes. I like
Okay.
this concept. Yeah.
I certainly think it helps keep stability and tradition in countries. Sure, absolutely. Okay. But I do think we can agree that we definitely have many different options today, right, in different cultures. Tiaba said too many divorces now. It's funny, Tiaba, because we've had divorce in America for a long time, so it's probably not so new to Americans. But in this case, maybe that's a concern, right?
Yeah, that's not in Africa. They married for 1-2 years and they divorced.
Oh, wow, that's pretty short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So do you think this is a problem that's going to continue, or what do you think?
I think they're gonna continue. Yeah.
And you think this is good or bad?
It's bad because I think they not take the time before marriage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a part of our culture here in America that's disappeared.
Hmm.
Yeah, because even my mom, when she got married, 4 years, 5 years, it took a while before you got married. So I think
Yeah.
that's very, very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, well, guys, listen, I'm sure everyone here would have opinions to share. Unfortunately, we don't have time to hear every answer, but I think it's something to think about. I'm sure many of you agree that culturally, some countries may not have changed much. Other countries may have changed a lot. I do think, Miriam, I do agree with you on that part. I do think the idea of patience, Tiaba, I do agree. We culture generations today don't want to take as much time to get to know each other as fast. And of course, we've got smartphones, right? We got Facebook and Instagram. We got so many ways to communicate, but do they really communicate? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I do hope that marriage is still something that we we want to promote, right? I do think that's important, but I again, I understand my ideas are different from other people's, and maybe their ideas are different too. So I do think, though, it's a good example to think about stability in culture, right? So, okay, well, guys, one more time. Our expressions for the day: puppy love, 'tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And finally, a love for the ages. So these are 3 expressions I hope that will be helpful for you sometime in the future. Now, guys, let's go ahead and continue on in our lesson this morning and talk about our Burlington English lesson. Now, for our new students, we just started this lesson last week. So what I decided to do here today, I didn't want to get too much into the grammar again at this moment. Instead, I wanted to do a little group activity just to give us the basic understanding of what we're talking about in this lesson. Okay, so I'm going to click on the link. Now, again, some of you, I know Vladimir, for example, you've taken classes with Miss Jones, so you're familiar with Burlington, but we do have some new students in the class. So I just want to take a moment and kind of review Burlington, just to, again, to kind of give a quick overview. So again, when we log into Burlington the first time, you will see your name up here at the top of the screen. Okay, and then you will see the different choices here. Now, I have more choices because I'm a teacher, but again, most of what we do here is in the courses box of our class. Okay, so when we click on courses, then you will see the different levels that we have available. So we have basics, low beginners, high beginners, low intermediate, and so on. In this course, we are using the high intermediate category. Now, Burlington can be confusing, okay? I like Burlington, but sometimes it's hard to find all of these things. So again, when I send out homework to students from Burlington, I will use the links that you will see at the top of the screen. So that way you click on the link, it'll open the app for you. Now, what I normally do, again, if you're using your phone or computer, I usually send the homework in email, but I also put it in the Burlington Messenger. This is the Burlington Messenger. Now, I don't know, again, Vladimir, if you've used the Messenger before, but it's basically like a little, email system in Burlington. So again, when we're finished here this morning, I will send, I'm sorry, this afternoon, I will send homework in your email, but I will also send it to you in the Messenger. That makes it a little easier to do the activities, I think. So again, we're using the high intermediate level. That's the level we're using in our course. And again, just to quickly highlight that most of the activities you do will be from what's called the student lessons category. Okay. Now, again, I will show you some things you can work on. We're actually not going to be using the student lessons for this particular class, for this class today. We're actually going to be using, again, some of the grammar lessons. But student lessons are where you find most of the activities we do in Burlington. So you click on student lessons, and these are the different topics that you see. Okay. So, for example, we are working in topic number 6, which is in the workplace. And from topic number 6, we have already done lesson number 1. Okay, so again, for our new students, I will probably recommend, okay, so Hikaru, Vladimir, and Hassan, that it might be a good idea to do lesson number 1, listen and speak. So I will send those to you, the links to those activities. It might be a good idea to do those activities because it kind of helps prepare you for lesson number 2, which is the lesson we started last week, which is focusing on a grammar idea of the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous. Now, we're going to do some activities about that today, but we're going to focus more on this on Thursday. Okay, so we'll do more of that lesson on Thursday. Instead, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be using a different course, and that is at the bottom of the screen called the grammar lessons in Burlington. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'm going to click on the grammar lesson, and this particular lesson, we're going to just review real quickly the present perfect continuous. That's what I would like to do just real briefly here. So again, we have different levels. We have intermediate, right? Beginners, intermediate, and advanced. Now, for the present perfect continuous lesson, we're going to be looking at the advanced Burlington grammar this morning. Okay. Now, from there, I'm going to go ahead and click on, I'm going to go ahead and go in through the student lessons. I'm going to use the student lessons for this morning's discussion. And we're going to be looking at, okay, so I'm going to kind of scroll down here. I just want to highlight to everybody that we are kind of talking about these lessons here, these ideas. Present perfect simple, reviewing the past simple and the present perfect simple. But today we're going to look at number 19, which is the present perfect continuous. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at here this morning, and we're going to do a couple of activities. Now, first off, let's talk about the present perfect continuous. Okay, so I'm going to just review a couple of things. So again, in terms of using the present perfect continuous, we've discussed already that the present perfect continuous is used to show an action, right? An action that began sometime in the past and is still continuing. Now, for example, guys, when we talk about the past, I think sometimes we think the past is, you know, yesterday or last week. But no, the past was just a few minutes ago, right? Every time we talk, we leave the past, right? So, for example, if we talk about our class right now, right? We have been, you know, in class. For example, guys, how long have we been in class so far? How long have we been practicing English this morning? Who could answer that question?
1 hour.
Yeah, for about an hour. Yeah. Does it feel longer for you? Some of you think it feels like 10 hours, Mr. John. No, we've only been in class for about an hour. So we started sometime in the past and we are continuing up until this moment. Okay, so the present perfect continuous we use for those kinds of actions. Now, I'm going to ask for some help. So let's take a look at the first example. She has been sleeping. Okay, so Miriam, would you like to read that first example for us where it says she has been sleeping?
She has been sleeping all day. She started sleeping in the past. She's still sleeping at the moment.
All right, thank you there, Miriam. So the action started in the past, but if I looked at her right now, she would still be doing it, right? So again, just like we have been studying English, maybe all morning, maybe not all morning, but for at least an hour, right? So we're still doing it, right? Okay, Brenda, would you like to read the second example where it says the nurse?
The nurse has been visiting the patients. The nurse began visiting the patients some time ago. She is still visiting them.
Yeah, so she started at some time, but now she's still doing it. So by looking at the sentence, we can see that this is an action that is still continuing. It started in the past. Maybe we know, maybe we don't. But the idea is it's still continuing. All right, and let's look at the last one there. So Barbara, would you read the last one there where it says, I have been?
Sure. I have been waiting to see a doctor for 2 hours. I am still waiting.
That happens sometimes, right, Barbara?
Yes.
Yes. I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pregnant. I wait a lot.
You've probably been to the doctor a lot. That's right.
Yeah.
But I hate it. You make an appointment, you're there on time, but the doctor is late. That's not fair. Okay, so in this case, yes. So let's highlight some of the things we see here in our lesson. For example, we often see activities like all day, right? We often see expressions like for a particular period of time. I've been waiting for 2 hours. I'm still waiting. So again, part of the idea is what is the purpose? You know, what am I trying to express when I use the present perfect continuous? So for example, everyone, again, let's talk about the grammar of the present perfect continuous. So again, if you notice here on the screen, we often use the helping word have. We use the past participle been, and then we add an ing ending. So again, I can't really highlight it here on the screen, but have been doing something, right? So I, you, we, they, he, she, it has been, okay? If we use it in the negative form, you, we, they have not been, okay? So not been sleeping. It has not been sleeping, right? For example, he or she. So again, these are some grammar things that you can review. Now, the idea here is you can practice making questions. Take a look at the examples here for these questions, like, for example, the WH questions. How long, right? Where have you been doing this? What has he been doing? So we often use these particular questions because we've been waiting a long time or been doing something for a long time. For example, let's take a look at that question there where it says how long. Does everyone see that? Carmen, could you read that question for us where it says how long?
Yes. How long have you been working in the hospital? 14 years.
Yeah, so in this case, when we ask that question, we don't mean like today necessarily, like how long have you been working today? We mean for probably your experience, right? So for 10 years. Okay, now let's start with just a simple exercise, class. So let's do an example right now. Let's use the chat as our way to practice. Okay, so I'm going to put a question up here on the screen. Let me see if I can do that. See if it's going to work. It may not. There we go. Okay. All right, so guys, I'm going to put a question up here on the screen using how long. Okay. All right, guys, so here's my question I would like for you to answer right now. Okay, so let's use the chat. How long have you been studying English? All right, so everybody answer that question right now in the chat. Now, if you want to give a complete answer, that's fine. Or if you just want to answer with a specific period of time, but think about the example here on the screen. How long have you been working in the hospital? For 10 years. So guys, how would you answer this question? How long have you been studying English? And I don't mean today. So take a moment, put your answer in the chat, okay? Okay, yeah, and again, notice there are different ways to answer the question. Okay. All right. Now, wait a minute. Some of you have been studying with me, but some of you have been studying in other places, right? Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone understands that some of these students have not been studying with me for 15 years, okay? So I don't think Sakurako would want to study with me for 15 years. Would you, Sakurako? I think you'd go crazy at this point, right? And Kaoru, I know you're a young person, but I don't think
That's why.
I don't think it's been since you were 14 that you've been studying with me. I don't think so. But still, very interesting. Very interesting. Vladimir said 6 months. Wow, I can't believe that, Vladimir. I thought that was longer. Okay. All right, so I'm looking at the answers here. Lots of different answers. And I do like the fact that we have some different kinds of answers, right? For a certain period of time. So I'm just going to make note here on the screen. Let's make a little message here. So I'm just going to put some of the answers that you guys have listed. And sorry, I don't know why this isn't working. There we go. All right, so again, I'll just put a few samples up here on the screen. So I saw for 14 years, or I'm sorry, for 15 years, since I was 14 years old. Okay. All right. All right. So these are all good answers. We could respond in many different ways, right? For 14 years, since I was 14 years old. Okay. Or some of you put a complete answer, right? I've been studying for 6 months, for example. Okay. Yeah. So all of these would be, I think all of these have been, would be acceptable responses, right? Answers that you can say. Okay. All right. Now, again, like I said, this morning, I just wanted to take a few minutes to kind of introduce the idea of the present perfect continuous. Now, what we're going to do on Thursday, so when we come back on Thursday, we're going to return to thinking about both ideas from this lesson, the simple perfect, the present perfect simple, and the present perfect continuous. But sometimes it's good to kind of review each idea. So again, for our new students, last week I gave some exercises with the present perfect simple. So what I will do, again, just to help everyone, I will send you some activities to practice with the present perfect simple, but also with the present perfect continuous, which is what we're looking at here in our class time this morning. So I'm going to remove these, and just to show you what you're going to do, Okay, so as we return to our lesson, you will see up here at the top of the screen where it says practice. There are 2 activities that I'd like for you to try for next class. Okay, so again, for next class, I'd like for you to try activity number 2 and activity number 3. Now, the idea is you will use the present perfect continuous to complete the sentences. So, for example, everyone, let's take a look at number 1. This will just kind of explain a little bit of what we're doing. So everyone, take a look at number 1. It says, Sally has the flu, which unfortunately some of my students are sick. So we want to express that this is a problem that has been continuing, right, since this morning. So if you notice the word rest, rest is the word that we have to use in this example. So for number 1, what should I say if I want to use the present perfect continuous? So Sally has the flu. She
Has
been resting.
Yes.
All right, let's see if you're correct. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and check the first answer just to see. All right, very good. So the basic idea is you will look at each example and try to create a sentence or finish the sentence using the present perfect continuous to finish the idea. Okay? For activity number 3, this is where you'll have to create a question. All right. Now, again, you're given examples here. So it says, for example, what you do lately. Okay. And what we have to do is to put an answer by taking those words and put them together as a question. All right. So let's do this one as an example. So the pharmacist says, it's nice to see you, Karen. And then we have what you do. So we want to create that into a present perfect continuous question. So I think we can start with the word what. Okay.
What have you been
What
doing?
have you
Been
doing lately?
lately?
Right. Okay, let's see. Let's see if you're correct. Okay, and you are correct. So that's the basic idea for this activity. Okay, so guys, I'm going to send you these 2 activities to try for our next class. Okay, this is one of the activities I would like for you to try. So again, the idea is we're trying to just refresh our memories or review this information to kind of understand how to use it. So that's kind of our first activity here for Thursday. Okay. So again, I will send that to you in your email and in the Burlington Messenger. Remember, the Messenger is up here at the top of the screen. And also for our new students, I'll send you some of the activities we did last week. That way you can get a little more practice with the present perfect. Okay, now guys, I'd like to return to our presentation because I do have a little surprise. And that surprise is that I would like for us to do a song activity. So let's talk about it. Okay, now first off, guys, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and one of my absolutely favorite songs of all time is the song Cupid, and it's by the great singer-songwriter Sam Cooke. Now, first off, guys, Cupid, if you know who Cupid is, do you guys see here on the screen? That is Cupid, right? So first off, do we recognize Cupid? Is Cupid something you see in Valentine's Day, even in your countries? Do we see Cupid? Yeah? Yeah, so we're familiar with Cupid. Okay. Yeah, so some of you may know Cupid is, so we often kind of joke that Cupid is responsible for love, right? Okay. Well, first off, let me take a moment and introduce you to Sam Cooke. Now, again, I love Sam Cooke. I know some of you have probably heard this song before, but I'd like to use it here this morning because it's a perfect opportunity, right? It's Valentine's Day. So let's talk for just a moment about Sam Cooke. So Sam Cooke was one of the greatest singer-songwriters of all time. He wrote many songs. In fact, he was known as the king of soul. Soul, like that type of music that we feel inside of our bodies, right? Soul music. It gets us maybe dancing or singing. So Cooke was an incredibly popular singer-songwriter. He had 30 hits in the top 40. But if you notice, unfortunately, he did not live a long time. He was killed in 1964. And unfortunately, he did have a romantic problem, got involved in a bad relationship. So we won't talk about that. Instead, let's focus on the song. So Cupid was a very popular song. It was written in 1961, and it reached number 17 on the US pop charts. But I think it's a great song, a classic song, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. So you're going to do a little activity with Cupid for homework. But what I thought we would do first is just listen to a little bit of the song. Okay, so guys, in this activity, what we're going to do is we notice that some words are missing. Now, what I would like to do is I'm going to play part of the song, the first part here, and I want you to listen and see if you can guess, see if you can identify what the missing words are. Now, the first time I'm going to play it, I just want you to listen and follow along. Just listen and read the lyrics here. This is the beginning of the song, maybe for teenagers, but still, I love this song. So guys, here's what we're going to do. For homework, I would like for you to continue listening to the song, and I have a little listening activity that I would like for you to do for next time. Okay? All right. Well, guys, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to say again, welcome to our new students. Glad you could join us here today. So I will send you some Burlington English grammar activities, and I will send you the song activity, Cupid, by Sam Cooke. So it's very similar to what we did here in class. Just kind of see if you can fill in the missing words. Okay? Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Now, since we're here in the morning class, we do have class on Thursday, February 15th. I don't think anyone here is taking the evening class, but we are registering new students on Thursday evening. So, but we do have class Thursday morning. Okay, so I just want to share that with you real quickly. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Mr. Young.
And happy
Thank you.
Valentine's Day to
Happy
everyone.
Valentine's Day.
Sunday.